Well, shawties, we're still about a good month away from the NFL season. In order to cope with the wait, because I've been getting withdrawals already, I decided to go over some of the biggest storylines entering into the 2024 NFL season. I'm quite excited if you guys can already tell. Some teams have absolutely nothing interesting going on though, so forgive me if I just skim right through them. This will not be a full-on free agency review. Too much has happened. I'm only giving y'all what the casuals care about. Y'all go watch Urinating Tree if y'all want a more in-depth analysis or something. Anyway, so what we got cooking up this season? Let's see, how can I be different today? I'll start with the NFC first.
Who was your first cartoon crush?
Magenta, Blues.
The Cowboys are all in, Jerry said. Yeah, the only thing Dallas has been all in on are Mike McCarthy, Dak Prescott, and eating cheeks in January. They were quite silent in free agency and picked pretty high in the draft, which somehow got an undisputed segment. I truly cannot grasp the goofiness of this team, because you really can't make this up. Blue balling their fans time and time again come playoff time is truly a sight to behold every January. Tony Pollard is gone, so they're going to have to find a way to replicate his production one way or another. I don't even know the running backs. Hold up. Ezekiel Elliott, Rico Dowdle, Royce Freeman, Deuce. Yeah, y'all cooked. On the bright side, they did get defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer, which will no doubt help uphold their strong defense. At this point, how much time does Dallas even have though? If they don't get it done this year, they have the ultimate prize of trying to find out who to re-sign and who they're going to have to let go. Shout out to y'all. The Giants have lost Saquon Barkley. Their quarterback is Daniel Jones. That goes to show how New York is doing right now. But for real, someone sum up the hard knocks of this team and put it in the comments. I really can't be bothered to watch. They signed Devin Singletary as damage control for running back, but I fear this team's cooked. I really want Daniel Jones to succeed, but it's going to take a Hall of Fame ass season for him to rebound from the dookie that was laid last year. Hope he's healed well, but get ready to ball for your life, Daniel. Eagles had a pretty rough campaign last year. Imploding in the final stretch of the season is something I still study to this day, but I believe in Hurts. According to my research, Hurts seems to be learning a new offensive schematic under Kellen Moore, so we'll see how he operates under the new system. Now they got an incredible new piece in Saquon Barkley, which will no doubt aid in their journey. As for the defense, they finally got rid of goofy head Matt Patricia. Why the decision was made to promote him is beyond me, but okay. Instead, they got an upgrade in Vic Fangio to stabilize the defense. Both sides of the ball have seen upgrades, and drafting two defensive backs in Kenyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean in the draft. Low-key, this team is kind of stacked. Let's just hope coaching doesn't hold them back this time, because Nick Sirianni is definitely in the hot seat. Day 908 in petitioning for Washington to change that garbage ass name. No doubt all eyes are on Jaden Daniels, their number 2 overall pick selected in this year's draft. It comes down to whether he could perform or not. Let's switch over to the previous year's first round pick though. Emmanuel Forbes Jr. This guy has a lot to prove this next season, seeing that his rookie year was quite the massive flop. He's one bad season away from becoming a bust, but I have faith he'll recover under Dan Quinn though, so only time will tell. Shout out to Washington for moving on from Dan Snyder, the snake, and getting an actual competent GM in Adam Peters. Now all y'all gotta do is change your team name and y'all set, bro. Y'all set. The years of suffering for Chicago might finally actually mean something. I don't know how they pulled it off, but this team just became loaded with Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, and DeAndre Swift. Add in that their defense was doing pretty good near the tail end of the last season, and you got yourself a team with a lot of potential. All they needed to do was get their quarterback, and they indeed got it with Caleb Williams. Let's hope they don't ruin him like all the other quarterbacks, right? Can the Lions put it all together for a legitimate championship run? That is the question. They were one half away from making it to the promised land last year, only to pull off one of the more interesting chokes of recent memory. Detroit's defense is the thing that raises questions for me, but drafting Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw Jr. will no doubt help their corner crisis. To this day, Detroit has never won 10 plus games in consecutive seasons, so they will have a narrative to change this upcoming season. Packers just signed homeboy Jordan Love to a 4-year, $220 million contract. His one good season, his last 8 games legit solidified him generational wealth. Shout out to him, bro was popping off during the later end of the season. The Packers will definitely be one of the more exciting teams to watch this upcoming year. Packers now have a new defensive coordinator in Jeff Hafley, along with their expensive offseason signing of McKinney. Time will tell for the defense, and as for the offense, Josh Jacobs will replace Aaron Jones. Low-key, it's a solid pickup. I really think Jacobs can pop off. Solid offseason for Green Bay. No complaints here, no complaints. Will JJ McCarthy even step foot on the field? That is the question. Sam Darnold seems to be surefire starter for right now, but I don't know, Sam Darnold doesn't necessarily have the strongest track record. Other than that though, they still got Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and their newest piece from their rivals, Aaron Jones. Hawkinson is still rehabbing from the horrific injury last year, but once he's healthy, he'll no doubt be a menace on the field. So in retrospect, I'm just really curious on how this will go down for Minnesota. Behind the Cowboys, I argue that the Falcons are the second goofiest team in the league, but that may be soon to change. They finally got rid of their goofball-ass coach Arthur Smith, and now they have Raheem Morris at the helm. As far as I'm concerned, this is a pretty good signing as bro has a lot of experience in the NFL, as well as history with the Falcons as defensive backs coach, defensive coordinator, and even interim head coach at one point. We'll see how it plays out, but he should know what it takes to win a Super Bowl. The biggest questions, however, are surrounding their new signing, of course, Kirk Cousins, as he is coming off a pretty bad injury last year. However, if he's able to play steady, like along with Bijan, Drake London, and Kyle Pitts, they no doubt have some good potential. Not to mention, they also signed Darnell Mooney and Rondale Moore. See, this is what it means to go all in Dallas. Now, one of the more controversial moves was picking Michael Penix Jr. at the number 8 pick. I still don't know what to make of this because I can kind of see the vision of what they're trying to do. I don't know, Atlanta fans, let me know what y'all think. You already know that Panthers GM Dan Morgan is going to do everything he can to justify the trade up for Bryce Young. Despite giving up a lot for Bryce, Morgan was able to trade for Deontay Johnson and traded into the first round for Xavier Legette. Wow, finally some actual receivers to throw to. They also drafted Jonathan Brooks in the second round from Texas. Let's go, representing. Alright, but we know the real issue with Carolina last year, and it was that garbage offensive line. They were eating cheeks every single game, so naturally changes had to be made. But to be honest, I don't know how much better it will be. Finally, they got a new head coach in Dave Canales, I don't know, who according to ESPN is considered a QB whisperer. I'm curious to see how Bryce Young will operate this season. I'm telling you, it looked horrible for bro, especially seeing Stroud popping off. How y'all feeling, Panthers fans? I have faith that Bryce will have his moment though. Saints have been the pinnacle of mid these past seasons. Last year was no exception, as you'd think with the addition of Derek Carr that the offense would see some form of life, but that indeed proved to be false. Especially in the red zone because these guys just could not score a touchdown in the red zone for the life of them. While there was improvement near the end, they completely overhauled their offensive coaching staff, and in comes in the new offensive coordinator in Clint Kubiak. It really comes down to Derek Carr in the end because he has a lot to prove after a difficult season last year. They paid him that contract, so it's up to him to make sure they know they made the right decision. There are doubts about the OGs like Marshawn Lattimore, Alvin Kamara on their futures with this organization. Overall, there's a lot of uncertainties this season for New Orleans. Only certainty they have is probably the signing of Chase Young, who will no doubt improve this mid-ass defensive line. If this next year fails, it'd be safe to say that they found themselves in sports limbo. Too good to be bad, too bad to be elite. Here before they go 8-9 next season. I'm actually so happy to see Baker find his game again. Real question is if he can stay consistent. In order to help him on the journey, Tampa Bay hired Liam Cohen, an offensive coordinator, to continue what David Canales started. Buccaneers also gave him the needed tools to further succeed, such as Jalen McMillan, Graham Barden, and Bucky Irvin. Also re-signing stars such as Tristan Wirfs and Mike Evans. On the defensive side, they agreed to a 4-year, $84 million deal with Antoine Winfield Jr. Overall, spirits seem to be pretty high in Tampa Bay, and I'm curious to see if the team will make that jump. It low-key falls into the performance of Mayfield. They'll go as far as he can execute. Last year was a dud year for Arizona, as they were just waiting for Kyler Murray to come back. One thing I will say though is that the team fought tooth and nail with every opponent they faced, and that's something to be respected. Biggest addition of course is Marvin Harrison Jr., who will no doubt make an immediate difference in their offense. Kyler Murray played alright after injury, so we'll see how training camp helps him on his journey. Prayers to him. Rams are in quite the interesting situation. Matthew Stafford is elite no doubt, but right now he's getting the same amount of annual salary as Daniel Jones, which is insane. Not to mention Aaron Donald retired. However, Rams don't play, so they drafted the Florida State duo Jared Verse and Brandon Fisk to make up for the departure. For the most part, a lot of returning pieces, and if Cooper Kupp can use this time to heal, this team might be just as good, if not better than last year. I cannot grasp how this team has not won a Super Bowl yet. There is no storyline here because it's been the same song and dance every year these past years. Will they finally put it all together? They better, because this might be their last shot. They have the whole Avengers squad on their team, and sooner or later they'll be due to get paid. Brandon Ayuk is one of them. He already requested a trade, but San Francisco's not gonna just trade him away like that. Other than that, they were able to sign Leonard Floyd to a 2-year, $20 million contract who will help out Bosa on the defensive side. Third time's the charm, right San Francisco? The Pete Carroll era is officially over in Seattle. It's now Mike Macdonald's time to shine, making him the youngest head coach in the NFL right now. Despite his young age, his resume speaks volumes, as this guy was the defensive coordinator for the Ravens and is responsible for their insane defense last year. He has a chance at making Seattle's defense unstoppable, dare I say, like the Legion of Boom? Well, it's too early to predict now. One thing that remains in question though is Geno Smith. Is he their franchise guy? He's pretty solid, but is he franchise guy material? He has this 1 year to prove himself as such before Seattle starts looking elsewhere. Until then, they have Sam Howell as backup. Low-key solid lineup. Who would have thought the Seahawks would be the one to win the Russell Wilson trade?